Welcome to Stardom Review, a bi-weekly show where Andre and myself we break down the amazing all-women's Japanese wrestling company known as Stardom. I'm Melball Collins. Over there is Andre C. Andre, how are you doing today?
I am doing phenomenal. I'm ready to talk some wonderful start in professional wrestling. Uh, Literally some of my most favorite wrestling watching every week. So
It is some of the most entertaining and yet still heaviest hitting wrestling I would say that we are watching right now, and I am living for it. So, Andre, let's get into her.
So, bam, we are talking about the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Tournament, but we are also talking about the Stardom Gold or Stardom in Showcase show. Sorry, I almost said Gold Rush. That already happened. That was the last show. Stardom in Showcase show, which featured on November 26th, which featured one Goddess of Stardom Tag Team tournament match, which we are going to get into, and that is the team of Wingori, Saya Iida, and Hanan taking on 7-Up's Nanae, and you. So we're both gonna just break this one down because it was the only tag match from the November 26th show. I had a great time watching this and getting to see like Iida and Hanan really try to go at the much bigger women in you and Nanae was actually just a fun like contrasting of how they each approach the matches, and um Sai getting a Fujiwara armbar on Nanae was like, I was impressed. Just like she's wrenching that arm like crazy, almost like the Becky Lynch disarmer style. But Nanae did get the ropes again. Like Nanae, when she's tossing Hanan around, like she literally was hucking that girl around. Same with you. Like they were just, but I had a great time watching this match. Was it Saya put you on her back, and then Hanan jumped on Yu's back, who's on Han, and then they all did that like piggyback splash onto Nanae. I was like, yep, I'm good with that. I like the add on that using Yu's weight to make it even worse for Nanae. I really did like that. Nanae hit a beautiful power bomb, but Saya reversed the pin into her own two, and then into the Itabashi for two, but couldn't get the win. Again, I really like that. But in the end, 7-Up hit the double team Razor's Edge. I can't remember on who. I didn't write that down. I'm crazy. I think
Iida.
you
Iida.
on Iida. Okay, I was Iida. And they do get the win again. 2 more points for 7-Up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I agree with you on so much on this. This was a very interesting match, and it was very interesting to see how Hanan and Iida almost went into it with a structure or a game plan. In that, okay, well, this isn't working. Let's try this. This isn't working. Let's try this. You can
Yeah.
see the strategy that these two girls have already kind of come together and working together. And it was very, very impressive. I felt Iida worked really, really hard this match because she was physically the smallest one, even being dwarfed by her partner, but also usually being the strongest one in her team, having to be quite defiant and almost proving herself against Nane and you and doing it very, very well. The only thing that I would add to this is that I've said it before, I'll say it again. I do not like how 7-Up, though, despite loving them, their in ring work, everything about them, the one thing I don't like is they are sore losers. And it's very, very apparent that they're also as sore winners as
Mm-hmm.
they are losers. And I don't like that. You know, there's one thing to be a sore loser and you're on, dang it, we should have mean that, and like we should have gotten those points. Like, you know, that's one thing. But it's like when you've already beaten the people, you've already made your point. That you prove nothing else except for making
Yeah.
me and the fans dislike you by rubbing it into your face. But like, man, you is such a great character though, because that's probably what she wants. She probably really wants to make us dislike them. And it's working because she does it so charismatically and with such a smile and
Yeah.
just holding herself in such a way, you can tell that everything that she does is intentional,
Mhm.
but it's not something that I'm particularly a fan of.
It happens, but again, yeah.
Mhm.
Again, very good match. I'm going to give a quick update on the points because this is the one and only match on this one, and I'll just update the Blue Goddess division. You got BMI 2000, MI Hemi with 8 points, 7 Up with 7, FWC with 6. You have the New Eras with 5. You have Wingore, Waka Wild, and O2 Line all with 2. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Wingore, Waka Wild, and O2 Line are mathematically eliminated. And there's because after the next show we're going to talk about, there's only 2 more shows, and those will be coming out next week. I know it's Wednesday right now, and those matches actually happened this past weekend, but Stardom isn't dropping them on Stardom-World until today. So we will be reviewing them next week. We will be reviewing the finals of the final 2 nights next week. So just so you are aware, it's just we don't get access to them until the midweek. So that's why we're usually about a week or so behind on results, because it's just when they drop, it's hard to, unless you want to be spending $40 per show, which I'm okay with not doing.
Crazy.
Maybe for the December 29th show.
Also.
For the December 29th show, I will probably drop the whatever the pay-per-view cost is, because that one I want to see immediately, because that's going to be a big show.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah. So we're going to quickly go over the rest of the card. We had a 4-way Anywhere Falls match. It was like we saw one of these a few months back at the last showcase show, where I think it was Mayu Iwatani went tumbling down the stairs, and actually Ram Kaicho was actually in that match too. So you have Koguma, Azumi, Starlight Kid, and Ram Kaicho in this match. Again, Ram Kaicho throwing her powder around like usual. There was a great spot where Ram and Starlight Kid were playing soccer with the rest of Uedo Tai in the ring. It was pretty funny. Azumi and Koguma got the plastic bubbles you put yourself inside of, and you run into each other. They brought those down, and that made for just some crazy spots. There was one spot where Starlight Kid got the bubble put on her while she was on the top rope, and Koguma went up to suplex her, and then essentially just suplexed the bubble off. Oh, dude, it was just nothing but just crazy stuff. They fought over by an inflatable soccer goalie, where they were kicking soccer balls at AZM, Azumi and Koguma, SLK and Ram, where it was just nothing but crazy. It was just a wild match in this whole thing. But yeah, the end of it did come. Everyone's trading pins in the ring. Koguma ended up pinning Azumi, and Ram pinned Starlight Kid, but they officially gave it to Koguma because the ref for her counted the pin about a half second before the other ref. So again, the official winner is Koguma, I think.
So does that mean Koguma gets a shot potentially at Azumi's high-speed championship?
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say, because she pinned the champion, so it was like, maybe she gets a shot at the title. You never know. She lost it a while back, so make it a shot at taking it back. So yeah, it was an interesting. You got any thoughts on this one? Because this one was just all over the place.
You brought up the funnest parts, but I would like to just say
I'm sorry.
They were wearing all of the soccer jerseys. And Koguma had to forcefully dress everybody in these jerseys.
No. Azumi put hers on willingly. She just put her jersey on.
Yeah, but it sounds better when you had to force it over the ears of Starlight Kid.
Yeah, Starlight Kid and Ram, they had to pull the shirts onto them. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. She had to trick them. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, this match was it was what I expected after the last match that we saw. Soccer's not really my thing, but if that's how soccer is played, I'd sure watch it a lot more.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting game if that was it. So we're going to move on to another 4-way match. This was just a straight up 4-way. You had Himeka, Momokogo, Saya Kamitani, and Lady C. Again, this one had a pool in it in the middle of the ring, and they kept washing each other's hair, and It was just this
Shampoo and
weird,
bubbles
and throwing each other in the pool. This little pool that had like maybe like 5 or 6 inches of water, but then there was pumps that they could pump more water into the pool, and then there was pumps to get like shampoo or soap or something. Again, it was really, really weird. End of the match came, lady. Yeah. Or get anything before I go to the ending of this one?
No.
I think I've summed it up.
It was a weird match for me.
These showcase shows are
kind of watched the whole thing like.
These showcase shows are very interesting. Lady C and Saya Kamitani both clothesline Himeka. They go for the double pin, but the ref counts a double pin, but they only get 2, so the ref would have awarded both of them the win, I guess, if they both pinned her. I don't understand. So they then toss Himeka into the pool, and then the ending, it was essentially the end of it was very early 2000s diva, like pool mud pillow fight, some kind of thing, like WWE divas in the early 2000s. It's really what it felt like, is all these girls were getting wet and doing weird shit.
Little cringe.
Mobile in the end ended up submitting to the abdominal stretch that that Lady C had her on her, getting the win, and then it just immediately abruptly cut because they have a DJ doing music, but they don't have the rights to rebroadcast the music. It's only for the pay-per-view. Yeah. It's not, so it immediately was like the matches would start when the bell rang and they would end like right after the bell.
Yeah,
it was like abrupt cuts. It was very weird. Do you have anything on this match?
No, God, no. I added all I wanted to on that one. It was very, very much so a gimmick match.
Yeah, very much.
It wasn't, and like I don't mind gimmick matches, but like I felt like a lot of the show was just gimmick matches. So this one,
there's a couple that had some good stuff in it.
Yeah,
but these first couple were just
It was a little too much entertainment and a little too little fighting.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to the 6-woman tag. This was a weird one again. A judo jacket 6-woman tag. You had Team Blue of Maika, Hanan, and Mayu Iwatani, and Hanan working her second match of the night. And then you have Team White of Mirai, Hina, and Utami Hayashishita. All these women have backgrounds in judo, I guess. And they're all wearing gis. And actually, the blue team had on the pants, too. And this match was essentially, you throw somebody to the mat using a judo throw, you get a point for your team. But there's also professional wrestling moves and drop kicks and all this other stuff. And I'm not going to go through it because it was just a bunch of crazy over just point to point moves, point to point. In the end, Maika tapped out. Or I guess you can also win by submit. You get a point from submission. Maika tapped out Hina to get the 5th point for her team and win. So Team Blue won. Again, it's a weird concept of a match that I enjoyed watching, but it's very hard to recap because it's all about the judo throw, but then they're doing moves in between. So it was an interesting match to watch. I kind of recommend to see the different things that Stardom tries to throw out there. And this it wasn't bad. I actually had a good time watching it. Just check it out just to see just the difference in what they do here. I'd recommend it for that. I recommend it in that way, but yeah.
Agreed.
Anything on this one?
I think I'm good because you're absolutely right. It's very difficult to review a match like this. When there is just not necessarily like a clear way to. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add. I felt that it was a fun one. Again, confusing for me at points. But still very fun.
It's still a fun match. Like the girls did wonderful. The ladies did wonderful.
I say the same thing about Lucha Libre. I still watch it.
Yeah. And then we had a tag, no holds barred tag team match.
Yeah.
Now I do specify by saying it's a no holds barred tag team match. Just remember that. You have Oedo Tai's Natsuko Tora and Saki Kashima taking on Hazuki and I guess brand new to me, Sumire Natsu. Or Natsu Sumire, I don't know. English way, I guess, I don't know which way is the English way. It kept getting jumbled for me in different points. I liked her gear with the weird cone titties. I just thought, like,
Madonna stuff.
She wearing like Madonna cone titties. I was like,
yeah,
that's actually pretty.
That, yeah.
I found that pretty humorous. So this is essentially a match where they were putting garbage cans on each other, hitting with kendo sticks, smashing bottles over each other's heads. Just a lot of like sort of hardcore stuff, but I didn't go too much into the hardcore, I guess. There was this, and they were pouring booze on each other. There was one point, where Natsu was pouring wine onto Natsuko Tora's face. I think it was wine. I don't know. It looked like a wine bottle to me.
Those special pretty bottles. Yeah, it's like
and
sparkling wine.
There's been bottles. There's been kendo sticks. There's been trash cans, all hitting each other in front of the referee. None of it has been. It's no holds barred. So the end of the match comes with Saki hits Tora with a bottle by accident. Hazuki sends Saki to the outside, and Hazuki and Natsu hit an elevated MX, and Natsu hit the Rampage on Tora on this like pointy board, I guess. And the rest of the Oedo, this is where Oedo Tai swarms the ring and starts fighting. And then Stars comes in and the rest of Stars comes in and starts fighting, which is Hazuki's team, Suzuki and Natsu's team. And all hell starts breaking loose, and the ref gets them out. And then something happens when they all pile back in. And this is where the ref just throws the match out. I was very confused because I thought this was no holds barred. That means you can't throw a match out for this shit. Because you have literally let Oedo Tai interfere earlier in the match. Other members of Oedo Tai were interfering. Okay, so giant brawl ensues. I understand the concept that the entire brawl ensued and he lost complete control, but you never had control in the first place. So this is a pointless ending, in my opinion. And this match was almost pointless, in other than the fact that it introduced me to Natsu Sumire.
The Madonna tits.
That's all. No, not that, but I quite liked her. The wrestling she showed in this match was quite good. So again, this is another character from Stardom I'm being introduced to. Again, a lot of these other shows is where I'm learning a lot of the characters from. So again, another introduction of a character that I think I will like. So again, there was one spot. Natsu did the Bronco Buster in the corner to Saki.
Yeah.
And she's essentially she comes in with the Bronco Buster, and then she essentially just grinds her crotch instead of like going up and down and like smashing into her. She essentially just grinded her crotch in her face.
Yeah, as a lady, we know what's happening right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, so this is different. I'm like, I had thoughts in my head, but okay, I'm gonna leave it at that.
The rest of us.
You trust me, my thoughts might have been different than yours, but I'll tell you that we're probably right.
Probably not. Maybe a little bit, but like we were thinking probably the same thing. Probably not having the same person in that place.
Yeah, so in the end, there was no winner in this, so it was just like it was
and
there.
Like,
I
after
guess
that, was there a loser?
I think Saki won in the end.
That's true. The one who took it to the most. Oh goodness.
So we're going to move on to what they call, because that was a no holds barred 6-woman tag. Now we're getting a hardcore 6-woman tag. I don't know what the difference is, except that Cosmic Angels, Natsupoi, Tam Nakano, and Unagi Sayaka had paint rollers and paintbrushes and brooms, and Prominence just came out to beat the shit out of the others. Again, and this is another one where I was introduced to Hiragi Kurumi. I like her. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
the power this girl has is
Mhm.
absolutely phenomenal.
Mhm.
There was a really weird spot where Cosmic Angels got all of prominence in camel clutches, and
Yep.
then took paintbrushes and painted their faces. I was like, that is so dumb. But I'm looking at Risa Sera later in the match, and the yellow paint on her almost made her look badass. I
Right.
love I was like, that actually looks really cool.
Even Suzu, it didn't take away from her badassery. It made her
And
look
same,
so
and
cool.
even Hiragi, same thing. I thought the paint actually made, I'm like that. Like at first, I'm like, oh, it's so stupid. But then as parts got wiped away and there was like just streaks of these paint all over their faces, I was like, oh, that looks dope as fuck.
Yeah.
Like I was like, especially on Risa Sera's where I noticed it most was like it was the paint was like across her forehead and then part of her cheek like coming back this way, but it wasn't completely. And I'm like, oh, it actually looked like I'm like, oh, that almost gave it like an added look. I'm like, I like that. Yeah. But
I actually sent this match to Yvonne to watch because Sarah Risa's outfit was actually very reminiscent of samurai students. So she was very, very interested in that.
Yeah, like there's a lot that happened in this match. They're smashing each other with chairs. There's this like pointy board thing that somebody got slammed on.
Yeah,
that people
so
get...
those are things that like we would buy to like help vine plants know where.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. So they're very pointy, they're very stiff, and they don't feel good when you get.
They didn't look like they were fun. There was like a ladder brought into this. They were doing ladder spots. There was a table spot on the outside where
this match was fun.
Where Risa Sera hit an air raid crash. Was it to I can't remember who, to Tam through the table on the floor? Like Tam looked like she got broken on that one. Like it was crazy. But then there's just so much. And then Risa Sera ended up tiger suplexing Tam onto the ladder. Or was it Tam suplexed Risa Sera onto the ladder. Sorry, tiger suplexed her onto the ladder. And Risa Sera literally landed neck first on that ladder. It looked just rough as. But if you've seen some of the other stuff Risa Sera's done, that's actually pretty goddamn tame.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty tame for her.
But just watching it, I'm not used to watching I'm not a huge hardcore weapons match fan. And I'm like, oh. And then Unagi set up the ladder, climbs up, and Suzuki ended up climbing up, headbutts Unagi like straight up, forehead to forehead, like Okada and Katsuyori Shibata style that created that hematoma that he ended up having to have a piece of his brain removed for. Don't do that. It's bad for you.
Do not.
And superplex. She superplexed her off the top of the ladder. Huge cannonball by Kurumi. And then Risa Sera hit the Michinoku driver, and then Suzu gets a 2 on that. Again, they're just kicking the crap at her. Prominence ends up piling up a bunch of chairs, but Cosmic Angel sprays them in the face with some spray or something.
Aerosol paints or
aerosol cans or whatever. And then Unagi hit a double team slam on like Suzuki, and like she got a spitting. I can't remember. Is it? Yeah. Suzuki ends up Germaning Unagi onto the chairs and getting like a bridging German and gets the win. But like this match was insanely confusing. It was very enjoyable to watch. Again, these matches like it wasn't confusing. It's just there was a lot that they did in this match. It was
overwhelming almost.
I highly recommend watching it. If you have Stardom-World, go watch this. It was phenomenal to watch. I think this is probably the best match overall of the night to me personally, because it gave me like TLC vibes from the old school days with some little more like recklessness.
Yeah.
Then again, they were pretty good. Some of the stuff Jeff Hardy did was pretty goddamn reckless, but it was really good. And this is the match out of like the tag team match, the Goddess tag team match, and this one are the two matches I would highly recommend to anybody to watch on this show.
100%. Yes. Look at this picture that we are showing you of these women, and don't be fooled, especially Suzuki. Look how sweet and innocent and just like
you. No. She lives up to the Suzuki name. Trust me. She lives up to that Suzuki name. Yeah.
She will beat the crap out of you and laugh while doing it.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the main event for this show. Exploding Coffin 6-woman tag team match. Donna Del Mondo's Giulia, Mai Sakurai, and Thekla taking on the Neo Stardom Army's Mysterious Grim Reaper, Nanae, Takahashi, and you, who worked the opener and now the main event.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I
This was
arguably
a
feel they did better in the main event than they did
oh yeah,
in the
they
opener,
did
which is
like
crazy.
for the majority of the match. This was actually a really good match overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like in ring, it was really good. The Grim Reaper seemed to be very like you hit her, it took like 6 or 7 or something to like knock it down, knock it down, and then they got right back up. They were like almost like impervious to being hurt. They pulled the mask off and it came off, but the Grim Reaper had another mask on. It
Love
almost looked like a flattened version of Laparca's mask. Yeah,
Mm.
I was really like, huh. But again, this is again. There's a lot. I'm not going to go through it all. There was a spot where they went to the outside, and there was a coffin at ringside that collapsed. So, and I think that was planted there to collapse for a reason, because the end of the match came. They fought over into the crowd, and was it Neo Stardom Army, except for the Green Reaper, got thrown into the coffin. The Green Reaper stopped it from being closed. They pulled out the rest of the Neo Stardom Army. They fought, and then all of Donald Demunda got tossed into the coffin, got closed, and then fireworks and sparklers went off, and it cut to black.
So, my question to you, Andre, is, and then we've talked about this a little bit briefly privately, who do we think is under that mask?
I'm going to let you, because I don't know a lot. Again, I've only been watching Stardom for roughly about 5.5 months. Mm-hmm. You put out a couple names to me. I'm going to let you explain on them because I don't know.
Yeah.
You were saying Kairi.
That was my first guess, just on who it was. And maybe just a secretism of that. But you're right. The size of her, even the way she held herself, the way she walked, and the stance, it really does show that it isn't Kairi. It's just too the Reaper is too thick in comparison to how Kairi is. So my second guess, and I don't know how right this one would be either, but I'm just going based on what it looks like the Neo Stardom Army is kind of made up of. And that's classics or dominant champions or people who have been around for a hot minute. So, Nanae Takahashi, she's the first ever Stardom champion. She's been around, I believe, not as long as, but pretty close to as long as Nanae, and has her own reputation. Kairi, same thing. My thought, based on the stance of the Neo, the Reaper, I guess we'll call her, based on how she stood, based on how she walked, based on how she fought, and then the last, more important thing is her seeming intimate knowledge, specifically of Giulia. Mai Sakurai and Thekla didn't seem to be a thing to her. Giulia was a focus. I personally think, and again, I could be wrong about this, but I personally think that the Reaper could be a potentially returning Konami, which I would absolutely love. I believe it was March or April where she kind of did a soft retirement and had her last match against Giulia. I would personally love to see Konami come back. She was actually one of the main people that drew me into wanting to watch Stardom in the first place. Between her, Giulia, and Mayu Iwatani, the three of them were just so big the last little bit. I'm really hoping. I have noticed that Konami has picked up her activity, particularly on social media, showing some of her old pictures from Stardom, as she was one of the Away Thai faction members upon leaving. So she had that black kind of and purple gear. She had her hairstyle is very cool, where she would actually have her bangs like in a point coming down the center of her face. Very intimidating woman, and she kicks like Suri. Just putting that out there to put into perspective how well this woman can strike. She's got multiple martial arts backgrounds. Like, I really do hope it's Konami. Really do hope it.
Could be interesting to see a return like that. I think the crowd would enjoy it. And again, it gives them somebody, again, from the more recent history to really latch onto with Neo Stardom Army, right? Because it's made up a lot of classics like Nanae, you, was it Alpha Female, Jazzy Gabbert.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
the Neo Stardom Army, and there's somebody else, I can't remember the name right now, but yeah, who was teamed with them at the last
Oh
showcase
yes.
show.
She came over with you. I can't remember her name also.
Yeah, I
She's
can't
in the
remember,
same company.
but it's that it's classics or outsiders. That's who it seems to be.
Mhm.
Maybe it's Mercedes Renato, the former Sasha Banks. You never know.
She's a little tall. A little tall to be Sasha. But that would be cool. But she was a
But
little
that's
tall
why.
to be
But
Sasha.
Konami. But I was reading Konami's only 5'1", so that's why I'm thinking it.
No,
Maybe not.
Sasha's smaller than that, isn't she?
No, she's like 5'2" or 5'3". She's a bit taller than that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Because like there's rumors out there that she's going back. Then there's rumors that it's imminent that she'll be working for Stardom in 2023. And I'm hoping that's the rumor that's right is that she'll be working for Stardom in 2023 because that's what I want. I don't want her back in WWE. I want her in Stardom. But again,
Said though, if it is Sasha Banks, if she was working for Stardom, would that interfere with her filming schedule for Mandalorian, or is she a regular character?
Well, it's dropping in the spring, so I think the filming's done. So
okay.
We'll see. We will see. Nobody knows.
Also, Sasha Banks, didn't she also partner with Samurai Del Sol to have that CBD? That could
be.
I personally don't have a problem with it. You know how we feel about that, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
You never know. So we are going to move on. Oh, Mel, you're leaving me.
Yeah, I just noticed that my battery is low, so I will be right back.
Okay. Oh, ML is now an M. So yeah, we are going to move on to the November 27th Tag League show. This show's all about the Tag League, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely thought it was phenomenal. The first match of the evening is the Blue Goddesses. It's O2 in the Blue Goddesses division. It's O2 lines. Azumi and Miyu Amasaki from Queen's Quest taking on the New Era's Amy Sarai and Mirai from God's Eye. Again, wonderful opener. I gotta pull my notes up because I just gotta double check one thing. Yeah, neither of those ones. Yeah, and I got great wrestling start. Azumi and Amy Sarai had a great quick start together. Absolutely phenomenal. Big chops from Mirai to Miyu, just laying in, just beating on the girl, man. Like, dang. Like, I felt bad for the girl, man. It was just like, whew. But yeah, just great. The speed in this match was absolutely phenomenal. Like, everybody moving. That pendulum DDT from Miyu, I will bring it up every dang time that we talk about an O2 line match. I love it. I love the way she gets up and then she's like a hang time in the air for a second and then the swing back. And she like literally when she's up in the air, she gets herself like perfectly like line because that's core strength, that's leg strength, that's everything. I'm like, I am impressed every time she does it. She comes up so perfectly and then comes back with that shit. It's really good. Like Miyu went for that pedigree, but ends up getting backdropped and then hits with an inside cradle for 2, but like followed up with a tornado DT. Absolutely phenomenal. Mirai and Amy hit like a double spear to Azumi towards the end there. Like, oof. And then Mirai hit that half Nelson wheelbarrow half where she like wheelbarrows her up, grabs her, and then just turns her into like half Nelson slam onto Miyu. Like, ooh, that looked good. But in the end, Mirai got the airplane spin into the cradle shock on Miyu and got the win. You got anything on this one, Mel?
So the only thing that I would add to your chops comment, the machine gun chops from Ami, very reminiscent to me of Kenta Kobashi, who just landed those chops every single time. It was like he was doing CPR. I loved it. Yeah, that's the only thing I have to add to this one.
Yeah, again, I really thought of Iida when I thought about that. Yeah. Is they both do that speed chop in the corner, and I really liked it. I really do.
every single
Yeah,
time.
insanely loud. So we're gonna move on to the next match of the evening, and it is from the and all the rest of the matches are in the Red Goddess division. You have the team of My Fair Lady, Lady C, and Mai Sakurai taking on the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Champions, Meltier, Natsupoi, and Tam Nakano. Again, as always, another awesome entrance from Meltier. I just that choreograph, the way they do it all, absolutely love it.
Mhm.
But during the intro, um, they got attacked. My Fair Lady attacked during the intro, which made me go,
Mhm.
"Oh, because yeah, it was during like the ring announcer introductions that they
Yeah.
did it, but I was still like, oh, because like Nat and Tam tend to do very theatrical even during their name introductions,
Yeah.
so
And
it's
you
just
don't
like, but
watch
yeah,
the intros a lot, so it's like when you finally watch one, you're just like, uh.
I try to watch Malteers every time because I like the scene because
Yeah,
they do an
it's fun.
extravagant entrance, so I try to watch it every
Mhm.
time. Um, but again, great match overall. In the end, Tam Nakano to hit the bridging tiger suplex onto Mai Sakurai for the win. Again, I say it every time we talk about Meltier match. The just the stuff that Tam and
Mhm.
Natsupoi pull out are absolutely phenomenal. I haven't seen Nat do her kneeling spin kick in a while, and I'm missing it. I love that kick. I love when she does a kneeling spin kick. I want to see it. Bring it back, please, Nat. Bring it back. But yeah,
Mhm.
I love it.
Yeah, this was a fun little match. I also was disappointed about the jump start. But I feel that it's getting to the point where My Fair Lady is really starting to, I don't want to say get desperate, but I think they're starting to show those signs of desperations because I believe they're
Mm-hmm.
still sitting at nothing right now. And they're the only team in this tournament right now, still sitting at nothing, which is disappointing because both of these women have come such a long way in their careers, particularly this year. Um, my Sakurai leaving Cosmic Angels and joining Donna Del Mondo, Lady C joining Queen's Quest. She was always Lady C was always a pretty decent talent. When my Sakurai was kind of like what I would consider a little bit not on that same experience level. Both of them now are functioning at such a high level of performance that I feel that it's just wrong that they don't have any points on the board right now. I do really hope that they do get some. But yeah, I agree. This was a fun match. I was disappointed with the jump start, but I did feel that it was a really great match to kind of get things going.
Yeah. And so yeah, actually, yeah, like I said, wonderful match. So move on to the
Mhm.
third of four matches of the evening. At least in the Goddess division, we are not covering the first two like undercard tags. And it is from the Red Goddess division, the team of Aphrodites, Utami Hayashishita, and Saya Kamitani from Queen's Quest taking on Karate Brave, the World of Stardom champion Suri, and Tomoako Inaba from God's Eye. This is Mel's pick. So Mel, I'm gonna let you break it all down.
This was so much fun. I love Aphrodite. They're really my favorite faction. They're my favorite team. Utami Hayashishita is currently my favorite active female wrestler in the world. Saya Kamitani, the I always get it wrong. Wonder of Woman, Wonder
Wonder.
of Stardom champion. She's been holding that belt for a hot minute, doing very well defending it. What an incredible team!
Well, she won it on the same day as when Suri won the world belt at the
Correct.
December 29th show last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Phenomenal chain wrestling to open up this match between Suri and Utami Hayashishita. Um, these two know each other so well. They know what to expect. I feel that's why we see this incredible chain wrestling from them. They're just so in the know of each other that they know what then they're thinking of next.
Yeah.
And I feel like they fought each other enough that maybe it's time that one of or both of them kind of throw something in there to throw the other off. Would be interesting to see how those matches go.
It would be.
Then switching up the pace. I love how these teams do this. Suri and Utami keeping it very ground based, very slow, bringing us into that nice roller coaster climb. until Inaba and Kamitani get into the ring and boom, pace changes.
Boom.
I was it's I feel like it's almost like Kamitani. It is a Kamitani bomb. She gets in there and she immediately takes the pace from 0 to 100. Her in ring is just so great. Her with Inaba was actually really, really great. I really liked Inaba, but I felt that Kamitani kind of brought out a little bit more in her for this match, which I really appreciate. I say
Yeah.
this every single time. This is always a note, but like Utami is a tank. She's an absolute beast of a woman, and she is in this match. I think even above a little bit above Suri in that physical ability of hers. Um, the Suri Utami strike for strike off was absolutely insane. They
Mhm.
were not pulling anything on this. They were laying into it, and this is why I
Yeah,
love
you have to.
Stardom.
You gotta and also understand you. I know you understand it, but
Mhm,
to the fan, you understand the familiarity that Suri and Utami have with each other.
mhm,
They have battled multiple times last year. The big title changes into last year. They've had multiple battles this year, so
mhm,
there is a history there that these women know each other, so they know what the other one's going to pull out. But when you have
mhm,
the tag team influence in it, it's going to change things up.
100%. And for anyone who's actually playing the NJPW Strong Spirits game, currently right now, Suri is actually an unlockable character. And when you use her, one of the things that you get access to when you're playing them is little backstage information that they have said about certain things that is important to the game. Suri will actually have a conversation with you where you can ask, about her family life or who her greatest rival is, and her greatest rival is none other than Utami Hayashishita. So if you're playing that game, pick that choice because that gives you the best skill points. Little
There you go.
gaming trick from Melball. So, just the last thing I wanted to say was at the end of the match, Suri submitting Kamitani with her move that she calls the Bayako. I don't know if that's how you properly say it, but that's how it ended. Suri and Karate Brave Inaba picking up 2 points over Aphrodite, but I don't think this actually has brought them over top of Aphrodite. I believe Aphrodite still leads them by 1 point. Andre, what did
uh,
you think about this
I had a great time.
one?
I always have a good time with like these matches. Again, like I've said in the past, I'm not the hugest fan of Karate Brave, but I think when they do the right things, they're absolutely phenomenal. Um, they've done really good match. And again, I'm a big fan of the team out of Aphrodite, Tommy Ashton and Saya Kamitani. I don't think they have not had a bad match. I don't think there's really been a bad match in this entire tournament, in my opinion. But I've had a great time watching all these women wrestle. So it's just yeah, a great match overall. And then the ending. What was the series move called?
Bayaka.
Bayaka.
Byakako. Bayako,
I just
sorry.
have it written down as a stretch muffler because it was a stretch muffler over like.
Yeah, it was a variation of it.
But
Yeah.
then she actually was like sitting on the
On the
back of
side.
Saya.
Yeah.
That's what really got me. Is she was sitting on the back of her.
And she's so flexible. She was dang near touching the back of her head with her own
Yeah,
foot.
yeah. So I really quite like that finish. Yeah, great. But yeah, great
100%.
match overall. Yeah. So. Oh, sorry. And my other thing went down. I need to bring that back in. There it is. Right one.
Now we got
Boom. Yeah, we're going on to the main event.
I was going to say, your pick.
My pick for the night. It is team of P-Truck, Maya Iwatani, and Momo Kogo taking on Mafia Bellas, Giulia, and Thekla from Donna Del Mundo. Again, everybody knows my love for Giulia. Her and Iida are my two favorite women in this company.
You love Giulia.
I very much enjoy her. She is so good, man. And just such a fast start.
When she usually cuts them.
Yeah, this is just a great fast start in this match from Thekla and Momo. They're just moving, and just so much good stuff. Giulia getting that the SDF cross leg and then pulling up 2 curb stomps, 2 to Momo. Like not just one smashing their face into the mat's enough. No, I'm gonna do it again and smash her face into the mat again. I was just like, ooh, Jesus. But
What's the zombie world rule? Double tap?
yeah, you're right. Double tap. But yeah, I guess I was just like, Sekla applies a mood lock onto Momo, but Maya ends up breaking it. But like, just seeing Sekla do that mood lock, I was just like, yeah, I love the mood lock. Again, TJP does it absolutely phenomenally. But getting to see it over here in Stardom too, I'm like, yes, more mood locks. I love the mood locks because I don't know if Mudo can even do them anymore. I don't think he has the ability to bridge like that anymore. So
I was gonna say it might be a little tough.
yeah, so getting to see that move, that the new generations of professional wrestlers are taking that move and continuing it. I absolutely love it. Mayu Itani, like just reckless as all hell as she always is, just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely phenomenal with everything she does. Seka, huge buzzsaw kick, and then goes for the pin on Saya, I'm sorry, on Mayu, but Mo ended up breaking it up, and then gets a second rope cross body, just the Momo, just how she comes off with that just extension and how she comes through looks so good. Like it just
Mm-hmm.
like all the Stardom women, I think a lot of them, almost like 99% of them, just look so good in the way they do it, and just how they do a move themselves, how they arch, how they open themselves up, how you perform it. They make it look so good. Like
Mm-hmm.
absolutely fun. Mayu Iwatani with that crazy suicide dive onto Mafia Bella and Momo on the floor. Like Momo got hit with it. That was the funny part. Momo got hit too in that suicide dive. But like just
That's
that
what
suicide
this
dive.
line does.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen so many people do suicide dives, and he's just like, oh, okay. But when Mayu does it, it looks like she's about to kill herself. Like, and it sounds bad, but the way she goes out, she's almost wild in the way she does her suicide dives compared to everybody who's like comes through like so tight and through. And for the Mayu's comes through like it almost looks like so wild, but it's so her. It's very much her. It's if she didn't come through like that, you would almost think, oh, what's going on here, right? Because it's the wildness from Mayu Itani and how good she is, how perfect she is while doing the wildness is why I really like her.
Mhm.
Towards the end of my
It's
second,
very much a wild disregard for her personal health and safety.
yeah, Saka get a tombstone on Mayo, but only got a two out of it. So and Mayo ended up going up to the top and ends up hitting a moonsault salt onto Thekla and picked up the win. Again, like, yeah. Oh, sorry. Mayu hit the tombstone, only got two. I apologize. And then she went to the moon, up to the top to get the moonsault for the win. I apologize. I just read my notes the wrong way. But again, like, absolutely phenomenal match. Like, just all four of these women, absolutely phenomenal. Giulia, Mayu, two of the top women in this company. Thekla on the rise. Momo, one of the young burgeoning stars that's going to be a top star someday. Again, all these women work so well together. I am a huge fan of this, and like I look forward to more from all these women in this tournament and beyond this tournament. Like I'm excited for more. I really am.
100%, 100%. This match was so much fun. So much fun. And you're absolutely right. Julia is just super, super smart when she wrestles, but the combination of her and Thekla, with Thekla's just unique offense and even her unique defense, is just absolutely incredible. I love how both of them have had that complete change in the outfits and everything. You know, I've
Mhm.
always been a fan of Thekla's, like, I guess, the Black Widow gear kind of that she has with the black leather and the straps and the
Mhm.
cool little spider things on her coat. Even though I am arachnophobic and I really don't care for spiders, um, I feel the difference where she's kind of almost shed that little skin and become the suave kind of mafia bella character along with Julia is absolutely incredible. But Julia is just known for being the chameleon within Stardom as well. I would almost argue that Mayu is pretty up there also. Her outfits, though they are technically sort of like all kind of built around the same kind of blueprint, she
Mhm.
does have some pretty wild out there outfits. Sometimes they're shorts, sometimes they're like this, where she's got one side is shorts, one side is pants. Sometimes she's wearing capris, sometimes she's wearing full pants, sometimes the pants are open. It's just a lot of fun to see all the fun kind of
Mhm.
outfits and stuff that they have in Stardom and how they change them.
Yeah, very much so.
Mm.
So from here, I'm going to close this. Before we end this show off, I'm going to give you an update at the end of night 6 or end of whatever show this is. I don't think it's night 6 anymore. I think it's just a copy paste. But the end of the November 27th show, you have Mafia Bella with Giulia and Thekla. You have Aphrodite's Utami Hayashishita and Saya Kamitani, and you have Meltier's Natsupoi and Tam Nakano's all at 8 points. You have Karate Brave at 7 points. You have Black Desire, which is Momo Watanabe and Starlight Kid at 5. P-Trucks, Mayu Utani and Momokogo at 4. Then you have We Love Tokyo Sports, Saki Kashima and Freaking Death at 2. And sadly, at 0 points, you have My Fair Lady's Lady C and My Sakurai. Again, My Fair Lady We Love Tokyo Sports are easily mathematically eliminated at this point because, again, there's only 2 shows left. There's no way. I really don't see P-Truck being able to do it. Again, I know they have 2 matches on a show next weekend. They have 3 matches in 2 shows next weekend. So on the Saturday show, they have 2 matches on the and then on the Sunday show, which is the finals, they have their final tournament match. Again, why they couldn't have wrestled on the Stardom Showcase show, I don't understand. But again, this just the way Stardom likes to double up matches for people for Aphrodite and for P-Truck. I don't get it, but it happens, I guess. And then, so I'm pretty sure those teams are out. Mm-hmm. Personally, Black Desire has a very small chance. Karate Brave, Maltier, Aphrodite, Mafia Bella. I think it's coming down to those 4. It really is in that division. I think it's one of those 4 teams. And I personally, I could really see Aphrodite taking the Red Goddess division. I really do. And then on the Blue Goddess side, we have BMI 2000s, Natsuko Tora and Natsu Ruaka from Oedo Tai, and My Hemi and Himeka from Don Mundo at 8 points each. Then you have the new eras, Amy Saray and Mirai, and then you have 7-Ups, Nanae, Takahashi, and you, both at 7 points. Then you have FWC's Hazuki and Koguma at 6. Then you have, and that's, I think, where the elimination line is right after FWC, because the other 3 teams are Wingoris, Hanan and Iida, Waka Wilds, Waka Tsukiyama and Saki, and then O2 Lines, Azumi and Miyu Amasaki, all at 2 points. Again, there's no chance for any of them with only 2 nights left to go for them. So I think it's coming down to one of those top 5 teams, and I honestly think I think the match I want to see in the end is Aphrodite taking on BMI 2000.
Ooh, that would be a fun one. Because
either team winning that, I could see easily being the team that goes up against Meltier.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and that would be a really incredible match to see Utami and Tora go at it again in a tag team capacity. I would love to see that. Definitely love to see that.
I would love to see it.
Yeah. So yes, sir.
Yeah. So before we go, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Rogue Energy. Mel's going to point at the thing right there. Scan that QR code or go to rogueenergy.com and use the promo code OLEPODS for 10% off your order. And I want to thank our friends over at our local establishment for being partnered with us, so we do get the Rogue Energy sponsorship as being the sponsor with OLEPod with our local establishment. You can check them out on Twitch at our local establishment, on Instagram at OLE Podcast, or on Twitch, and I've got to get the name, but it will be, I think it's OLE Pods. It'll be in the description below, and we are going to be starting to try and do some Twitch stuff just for fun. We don't know. You never know what's going to come out of all of it for all of us. I also want to thank one of my closest friends in the world, Mike the Ref, over at Backbreaker Video. Thank you so much for simulcasting all of our stuff. You can check him out at Backbreaker Video on YouTube. You can check him out on Twitch at twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. He's there every Wednesday doing the Dynamite Sidecast and also multiple other nights of the week playing awesome video games. He's always asking you to be part of not be part of the problem, be part of the solution. So we all should live our lives by that way. And if you are watching us on Backbreaker Video, check us out on our YouTube page at Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk on YouTube. You can find myself on Twitter at That Canada Guy, on Instagram at That Canada Dude, on the random social medias popping up at That Canada Guy as I sign up for them because I'm going to at least hold the name. And you can find me on Facebook at the Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk Facebook page. Mel.
So you can find your Melball here on Twitter at Collins Melball. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Melball Collins. And again, the Melball or Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk Facebook fan page. Wow, that one's a tongue twister, isn't it?
See, words suck.
I forgot to mention. If you want to watch Stardom, we will leave a description link in the box down below. It is at stardom.com. It is 920
Stardom-world.com.
World.com. 920 yen, $10 Canadian, possibly less American. Totally worth the cost. That being said, Andre, if you have nothing else to say, my friend, we are good. Excellent. I am your Melball. That is your Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.